This is something you guys have been requesting the hell out of for a long time. It took a lot of time, but I finally found 3 stories that take place during school lockdowns. It was a typical boring day in calculus, only it was Friday 7th period, meaning the week was almost over and spring break would finally be upon us. So everybody was getting antsy in their seats. We did not have a test that day, like a lot of my friends did with their other teachers. So our teacher in the middle of class just decided to start playing games with us on Sporkle. He was a very laid-back teacher like that. As we were doing some brand logo quiz on Sporkle, I remember the exact moment it happened, right after my friend answered a question. I remember the exact answer too, Adidas. The dean's voice came through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked and frantic as he told all the teachers. This was not a drill, and to go into lockdown, I actually got chills and goosebumps on my arms. Our usually laid-back teacher too seemed panicked. He ran to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back corner of the room. We all sat in silence for about 2 minutes. Then the usual buzzing that came from a panel in the back of the room ceased, indicating the school must have cut all the power. We all looked at each other, realizing this must be serious. A few more minutes later, we heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs coming down the hallway. 2 girls in the class actually started crying, which made all of us even more scared. As the screaming got closer to the classroom, the lunatic-sounding man started banging on the lockers, while screaming, "I will kill all of you." It was at that moment that I started to fear for my life. My teacher shushed us. We all looked at each other to see our peers' reactions. The banging then moved from the lockers to our classroom door. That is when one of the crying girls screamed, "No." The banging on the door only grew worse as the man started screaming, "Open up." 2 of the girls were crying out loud now. It felt like an eternity that man was pounding at the door. Eventually, he continued down the hallway, screaming like a mentally insane person, until we could not hear him anymore. I would say 10 minutes later, though, it felt like half an hour. The dean came back on the loudspeaker explaining the situation. He said some apparently mentally unstable person entered the building and assaulted the woman sitting at the front desk. She fled the building screaming. Staff was not sure if the man was armed or not. This was before the school had cameras or proper security. The school was wide open to something like this happening. The staff had done a sweep of the hallways and classrooms and could not find him. The dean instructed the teachers to resume teaching, but to keep all the doors locked and not let any students leave for any reason. The most disturbing part is that one of the janitors working the night shift found the man sleeping in a storage closet near the back end of the school. According to rumors spread by peers, sticking out of his pocket was a .44 Magnum. The janitor must have done something to wake him up. Maybe left the closet door open. By the time police arrived, the man was gone. My entire class, as far as I know to this day, has no idea if the man was ever found. But I like to think right now he is being given the proper help that he needs. My school has 2 lunch periods. First lunch period is for all 6th graders and some 7th graders. Second lunch is for the rest of the 7th graders and all 8th graders. The lockdown happened in the beginning of October. It was overcast and rainy. During the first lunch period, I heard 4 loud booms. I thought it was thunder, but the lunch crowd started screaming. Campus security came in and yelled at everyone to go into the multi-purpose room. Kids in line buying lunch had to throw out their food. Me and some friends went in along with a huge group of others. Our multi-purpose room is huge. The back wall is made of see-through glass. Campus security was covering the glass with curtains. Adults stood at every exit. My friend Eric was curious, so he asked one of the adults what was happening. When he came back, he said, "You know, the houses in front of TMS." A mentally disabled man barricaded himself and was threatening suicide and to kill cops if evicted. He was walking outside school watching kids in a weird way. Eric said the man was also a registered sex offender. We were stuck in the multi-purpose room for a whole hour. After things were settled, we were escorted to class one by one. I found out later the man lived next to my friend Brandy. She said the previous Halloween, she saw the man cutting his arm and writing in blood on his window. The message said, "Do not come here or I will kill you." Everyone thought it was a Halloween decoration. But after the lockdown, we knew the man was serious. I am 22 years old, fresh out of college. I got a job at my old high school as a computer intern. The basement is messy and disorganized, but our small office is nice. It has 3 big desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat screen TV, and air conditioning. I got the job because my old computer teachers adored me. They helped me land the job. My co-workers Dave and Gary were not in the office one day when something happened. I was eating a sandwich during lunch when I got a call. A woman in the front office said the school was on lockdown. Someone, possibly armed, had entered the school. There was no door to our office, only a big opening, and the basement door did not have a working lock. I turned off all the lights and my screen. I texted Gary and Dave, but they did not respond. I sat in the dark playing games on my phone for 20 minutes. Then the noisy basement door opened. Creaking echoed through the basement. Someone ran down the stairs and approached my office. I crawled under the desk. Someone entered the office but did not turn on the lights. There was silence. I felt like if I made a noise, I would die. Suddenly, my phone dinged. I clenched my teeth in fear. Footsteps moved closer to me. I dove out and begged not to be killed. A man grabbed my arm and pulled me up. He wore a red plaid shirt, jeans, and a red-black cap. He said he was hiding with me and asked what was going on. I asked him who he was. He said he was picking up his son, and a teacher told him to hide. I looked at my phone. Dave had texted, "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He is wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, do not come upstairs." I was about to read the message out loud, but I looked up and froze. The man saw my stare and panicked. I ran upstairs. A gunshot echoed. I heard the bullet hit something metal. I made it upstairs. Police were at all exits. They caught the man as he opened the door. Mr. Buckley survived the gunshot. It was later said the man and Mr. Buckley had history, but we never learned why. All I know is that the sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind. The end. This story has now come to an end. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more thrilling and interesting horror stories, then don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. Thank you for watching my video.